what the promissory note was to the 600 teachers of Kenya. And this will be very good because that's what even the chief executive expected in order to make that sector to be calm. And we were looking towards and forward to this particular budget to achieve this. The next thing, Honorable and Chair of Budget and Honorable Speaker, is the issue of the promotion of teachers. That a promissory note was given by the executive again, that there would be a minimum of 50,000 teachers being promoted. I want to thank you for the 2 billion because I've already seen in the budget you have 2 billion for promotion of teachers. But if you did these promotions with 2 billion, we shall only be able to achieve only about 25,000 teachers. And therefore we are pleading that this is a sector that needs calm, given that is a very important sector. And therefore we need an addition of another 3 billion to make it 5 billion in order to promote the 50,000 teachers. And that sector will be very, very calm. And that will include the SNE teachers who had a promissory note too, together with the other teachers within that particular sector. Honorable Speaker, when we talk about the budget, we have to be very, very calm and very objective. Honorable members, you realize that the intern teachers will always be knocking on your doors, and they'll continuously so knock. And this is the house that can actually make the big change by simply asking the budget committee together with ourselves to see where we can chop the flesh so that we actually actualize the putting all of them as permanent and pensionable. And there are 44,000. I want to thank the budget committee because you have budgeted an amount that can deal with the 20,000. But then we have the sector having 24,000 of them being left out. And remember, in a court ruling at the Court of Appeal, we had this act of having these teachers as interns being made unconstitutional. Because again, when you go to Article 237 of the Constitution of the Teacher Service Commission, you will realize that it is actually unconstitutional. So this is another area we need to make an adjustment. Honorable Speaker, there's something called group life cover. And this one, Honorable Japheth, allow the Chair of Budget to listen to group life cover. That all the civil servants get group life cover. What's group life cover? When a civil servant dies, he's paid certain amounts, or the spouses are paid certain amounts for equivalent to a salary of 7 years. It is in law, and we thank the government that is working for the civil servants. So for the civil servants, they are paying 5 years. For police, they are paying 7 years. For teachers, they are paying nothing. This is a discrimination which can just lead us to a level of an industrial action that is unnecessary. We need to budget for group life cover for teachers. And where do you get the money, Honorable Chair? Through the Speaker, remember we presided over the transition of the teachers from Iron Minute to SHA. That's a story for another day because we are fighting with SHA and we want SHA to work because it's cheaper. It's government run. It's not private owned because we cannot collect all the monies from taxpayers and give to a private enterprise. So we want government to run that thing and we are supporting that area. The rest we shall talk to it another day. But now, when we transited to SHA, we saved 4.8 billion, Honorable Speaker. Yet what we require to have group life cover for teachers is 5 billion. If only we would have even played in that space, which we did ourselves, by transiting, then we should get the 5 billion, which is required for group life cover for teachers, so that they are not discriminated away from the police and other civil servants as it is today. Honorable Speaker, capitation. We are doing very well with capitation. But are you aware, Honorable Speaker, that yes, and this one can shame us because, you know, I'm part and parcel of the broad-based government. I'm right inside there because the president talked about capitation. But now today I'm from Utumishi Academy because part of the work I do is that. The schools have received 5,000 as capitation. I'm reporting to this house and we have done that research.
What's happening in the ministry? Some schools have received 9,000. Others have received 20,000. I'm talking here, members of parliament, because you'll get it back to the constituencies. That is the capitation that went there. There must be a real problem in the Ministry of Education. Because when we declare, Honorable Speaker, that capitation has gone to schools, and then a school can show you a reception of 6,000, how will you deal with it? In fact, Honorable Speaker, what is actually running the schools is the little capitation coming from JSS. Our primary schools would be in dire need if the JSS money was also not going there. And therefore, this is something that we need to address through this budget so that the capitation, when you speak to it, it is actually going to the schools and arriving in schools. And this can be done, an investigation by any one of us, because it's affecting our constituencies moving forward. Now, Honorable Speaker, and the chair of budget should listen to this. Pokot, let the chair listen to this. That we don't budget money for National Examination Council to pay the examiners, to pay the invigilators, to pay all the staff around that space. Honorable Speaker, this House can make a difference. The reason why the examiners have not been paid to date is that this money was never budgeted. It was hoped that it would be found along the way, because we made an intervention of visiting body, and then he says this money is not budgeted. So we have to possibly ask the president to use 223 to get such a money. This is a very important task in this country. Could we be sure that the chair budget will make sure that money for Kenya National Examination Council, for examiners, for invigilators, for the police, and people around that space is budgeted? Shameful to the House that today, as I speak, those who did supervised exams last year and mark have not been paid. And the Education Committee chair is just ahead of me here. He should help me to make sure that we make a change together with the Budget Committee so that we actually mainstream Kenya National Examination Council monies moving forward. Honorable Speaker, I can see my time is done. I would wish to indicate that those are important. Yes, let me hear the information you want to inform me, the chair. I don't know which information.
Yes, Honorable Chairperson.
Yes, thank you. Thank you, Madam Speaker. I do agree with the member for Emuhaya. Actually, the Education Committee took action because it is very shameful that these teachers have not been paid. And we reallocated 1.5 billion for the examiners in this particular budget. And it was actually the decision of the committee that there was no way, actually, we can do another exam before the teachers are paid. Thank you, and the invigilators.
I just hope that again we shall now not budget the NEC money for the following exams, so that again we shall have a situation whereby we have to come back here to say that we have redone it when the teachers who did this work are outside there and suffering. Thank you, Honorable Speaker, and I support.
Thank you. Member for Sigowet Soin.
Thank you, Madam Speaker, for the opportunity you've given me to also express my support for these budget estimates before us today. Madam Speaker, on the onset, I wish to express my satisfaction with the way the budget has been done this time round. But there is still a lot, Madam Speaker, that we need to do in the budget-making process. When the Honorable Atandi moved to the motion, Madam Speaker, he said that 99% of this budget reflects the feelings of the departmental committees. That I really appreciate, because at one point, Madam Speaker, some of us who believe in proper budget making were getting disappointed and disillusioned, and we thought probably it was not appropriate even to take part in the process altogether. It is not enough, Madam Speaker, for interventions only by the departmental committees. We need to reform the budget-making process altogether so that the line ministries, the departments themselves, originate the budget within the ceilings given by Treasury. Treasury, at the end of the day, Madam Speaker, should be a facilitator of the budget-making process. All said and done, Madam Speaker, I wish to appreciate the amount of money given to the Ministry of Education, which will make sure that the various critical programs are undertaken. But I want to join my colleagues, Madam Speaker, that the capitation issue is one matter that must be comprehensively dealt with. While we hear from the Presidency, Madam Speaker, that this amount of money has gone for capitation, in actual sense, we don't know what's happening between the ministry and the schools, because the amount of money received by the schools do not reflect a pronouncement like that of the President. There must be something that is not happening somewhere. And Madam Speaker, if it continues like this, then we probably have to ask the minister to come and explain to us in the House how the money has gone, and to give us specific schools that have received their money and the amounts received by those schools. Madam Speaker, I want to go to the Department of Agriculture, where I have dedicated a lot of my time and a lot of my energies in terms of improving issues in the Departmental Committee of Agriculture. Madam Speaker, my disappointment is that when you look at this critical sector, the budget allocated is only 67 billion, which translates to about 2.3% of the overall budget of the country. It's a productive sector. We normally speak very rosy matters about the agriculture sector. We talk of it employing the greatest majority of our people. We talk of it earning us foreign exchange. We talk of it being the basis for industrialization in this country. But a budget of 2.3% of the national budget is not sufficient at all, Madam Speaker. The declarations and the treaties which Kenya has signed with the rest of the world dictate that we allocate the agriculture up to 10% of the budget of the nation. 2.3 is extremely low. We are happy, Madam Speaker, that critical intervention measures like fertilizer subsidy, seed subsidy have been taken care of. At 18 billion shillings, we are sure that there will be enough fertilizer in this country. At 2 billion shillings, we are sure the seeds will be subsidized to the extent that agriculture production is cheap enough for the farmer to participate in it and to make ends meet at the end of the day. Madam Speaker, I want to speak again about energy. While we talk of energy policies in this country, what have we really done to make sure that we reform the energy sector in this country? The war in the Middle East has taught us a lesson. But we have solutions, Madam Speaker. The sugar industry in this country can produce a substitute for the oil that we get from the Middle East. We can produce ethanol, Madam Speaker. We can change the policy in this country to make sure that motor vehicles that are being manufactured use both ethanol and